we have been working on 5.5b, problem solving with decimals in addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division problems. Now let's get started with our performance task. We'll be taking a road trip. Now there are 4 destinations that you can choose from. You only need to choose one of those destinations. Once you select the destination that you would like to travel to, then that is going to be the attraction location that you're also visiting. Let me make sure I'm clear. Doswell, Virginia, if that's where you're going to travel as your destination, then you're going to visit Kings Dominion. If you're going to San Diego, California, then you're going to visit Legoland. If you're going to Anaheim, California, then you're going to visit Disneyland. And if you're going to Williamsburg, Virginia, you're going to visit Busch Gardens. But of course, you know that getting there has to be a task, right? All right. So if you notice on this chart or this table, there's some other information. So it shows the gallon of gas needed, but it only shows one way. Well, once you go to this location, you will have to come back home. So we're going to look at, how much is it going to take us in gallons to get us back home if we go there? Also on this table, you notice that we have the cost to get into these attractions. Yes, it does cost. We won't get in for free. So it tells you how much each location costs. So again, as you're looking to where you're going, you're looking to see how far it's going to be. And then you're also going to look to see how much those attractions will cost that we want to visit. You have 2 questions that you're going to work on, and then you have 1/3 one that you are creating on your own. So for the first question, it has us focusing on the gas and the number of gallons and how much it's going to take us to get there. So you are going to calculate the total gas price for your road trip. The current price of gas is $1.73 per gallon. If you notice on the table, your mileages were provided to you in gallons, okay? Again, remember, you will need to calculate your trip there and back, not just one way. Number 2 question shares with us that there are 4 people in the car. That's 4 people including you, all right? You're now going to determine how much it's going to cost for the 4 of you to get into that attraction. Remember, wherever you're going is the attraction or the place that you're going to visit. You have to calculate for all 4 people, the 4 people including you. Once you've answered those 2 questions, here's a create your own. Now, we can't forget that we have to eat while we're gone, right? So your parents said for one of the meals you are responsible for. Now, you get to choose what you want, though. And you also get to select what the other 3 people on the trip would like as well. Well, the location that you all are stopping at for this meal will be Cookout, all right? So what you're going to do is you're going to choose a meal for each person. Once you've chosen a meal for each person, then you're going to total it up so that we can see how much is that bill going to cost. Don't forget, everybody wants some type of drink, whether it's going to be a milkshake or drink. And then, of course, you know, we have those 3 little sisters and brothers that may want more than one, a drink and a milkshake. So remember, you're going to make a menu. You are selecting the items for your passengers in the car as well as yourself, all right? Now I'm going to go over some possible answers, depending on where you chose to go. So if you chose to go to Doswell, it took us 2 gallons to get there. But remember, we weren't just staying, we had to come back. So if you notice, I used the tape diagram. 2 gallons was one way. So 2 more gallons made it coming back. So 1 way, 2 plus 2 more gives us 4. If you notice in my multiplication sentence, I multiplied by 4 because 2 gallons plus 2 gallons gives us 4. You may also notice that I included a lollipop so that in case I forgot my multiplication facts, I had a quick reminder of what they were and I wrote them down. I also did not forget to move my decimal point 2 places over to the right, as it was presented to us in the problem. I finished off with writing it in a complete sentence to state how much gas we were going to spend to travel to and from Roswell, Virginia. You may have selected going to Williamsburg. If you selected going to Williamsburg, you noticed that it was 4 gallons one way. So in my tape diagram, I identified 4 gallons going one way. Not forgetting that each gallon, it costs $1.73 per gallon. So it doubled because I had to go and we also had to come back. So it showed us that there were 4 plus 4, which is how we got 8 as our number that we were multiplying by. Once again, to make sure that I hadn't forgotten, I did my lollipop for my 8s. I again moved my decimal point over 2 places. And I also wrote a sentence to go along with my answer. You may have chosen to go to Anaheim, California. You noticed that that was much further than going to Williamsburg or staying here in Richmond, going to Doswell, not too far away. To go to Anaheim, it took us 15 gallons. If we said 15 gallons going, then that means coming back, it was 15 gallons coming back. So 15 gallons plus 15 gallons gave us 30 gallons. Well, this time I did not show the tape diagram. However, I did make sure that I reminded myself what my multiplication facts were, and I used my lollipop. Now, I know that anything times 0 gives us 0. So I didn't make a lollipop, for my zeros. I did also remember that my decimal point needed to move over 2 places. And I also remember that I needed that placeholder there, being that I did not have any numbers other than 0 that were going in the ones place to represent that column. Here's my sentence that shows the amount of money that we needed to spend when traveling to and from Anaheim, California. And one last place, if you chose to go even further and you wanted to go to San Diego, one way was 20 gallons. So to and from gave us 40 gallons. I also hope that you noticed that I wrote vertically or horizontally. In the last problem that I shared, I wrote it going left to right, which is horizontal. This time I wrote it vertically going up and down, whichever works for you. Once again, I found my numbers that I needed, and I also made my multiplication part, my lollipop, to ensure that I didn't forget. Move my decimal point over 2 places. All right, so now we know how much it costs us to get to either of those locations or any of those locations. Which one did you choose? Did you choose the one that was the closest or the furthest? Well, the next thing that we had to do was once we chose where we were going to go, we then had to pay to get into that attraction. All right. So if you decided to go to Doswell, Virginia, and you went to King's Dominion, it showed us the cost for one person. I made a tape diagram because there were 4 people that were getting into King's Dominion. I also wrote I wrote a sentence to answer the question, how much it would cost for 4 people to get into King's Dominion. Well, you may have chosen to go to Williamsburg Busch Gardens. If you did, the cost for each person was $101.99. Again, my tape diagram shows that there are 4 people that are going. And my sentence, again, that goes along with my number sentence that answers the question of how much it would cost for 4 people to get into Busch Gardens. 2 more locations. Now, for the people who went further, Disneyland, it costs $95.50 for one person. I use my tape diagram again to show how much it was going to cost for 4 people to get into Disneyland. And finally, the last location, Legoland. Legoland only costs $67.50 per person. This shows how much it would cost for 4 people to get into Legoland. All right, I'm looking forward to seeing what you did on the Flipgrid for creating your own menu. I wonder what your combinations were. So I'm excited to look at that. Until we meet again, take care and enjoy your weekend.